Libby Pearson and Ian Baxter remotely connected to tell me about Purple List Theatre, a gay dementia venture. It was great to chat to them both about the inspiration for the piece and how audiences worldwide have reacted to it. Have a listen. On this Corona Bloody Virus extraordinary episode of Light and Leeds podcast, I have Libby Pearson and Ian Baxter who have remotely connected to come and speak to me. Hello, both.
Hello, Hazel.
Lovely to have you both. And you've come here today to talk to me about Purple List Theatre. Can you tell me and everyone at home a bit about that?
Who wants to start? Do you want to start, Libby, or shall I?
I'm going to just say that this is a piece of theatre that everybody must see. We're going to talk to you about it and tell you that it's about dementia care. We're going to tell you that it's set in the LGBT community, or Ian's going to tell you those things. But we also want we also want you to know that it's for absolutely everybody. Anybody can get something out of watching this piece of theatre. I will now let Ian tell you a bit more.
Good. Yeah, that is a really pertinent point, Libby. I agree entirely. We, as a team of people, are called Purple List Theatre, and the play itself is called The Purple List, with the tagline of a gay dementia venture. And it came about, I suppose, partly because I'm gay myself, and friends have thought about, as we're all getting older, so we're all older gay people, thinking about what's it going to be like when we start to need care, and thinking of how dreadful it might be, and thinking of how we might be able to make that better. And there are groups of people from the LGBTQ community who are looking at care needs of older LGBTQ people in particular. So I suppose that's how it came about. And I bumped into Libby, and she was a playwright, and we sparked off each other, and the play was formed eventually.
Yeah, we knew we wanted to do something about dementia because it was becoming, an epidemic. It is becoming an epidemic because we're living longer, we're talking about it more, which is marvellous. You know, it's always been there, but it was never talked about like it is now. And we wanted to be part of that dialogue and that discussion. And the way that we work is we're artists. I'm a writer, Ian's an actor. We couldn't do anything medical. We can't research. We're not academic, but we could write about it and perform something about it. So that's how we wanted to make a difference to dementia care.
And do you get lots of feedback from people watching the play?
We've been getting fantastic feedback, and I think we've been overwhelmed from the different audiences. So it's watched by the general public, it's watched by medical students, by social work students. Yes, so it is seen by loads and loads of different people. It was picked up by various organisations early on, an organisation called Skills for Care, who are responsible for training adult care staff in England. And they supported us in touring to 6 different towns in England to see how it would work as a training tool, as well as using it as a piece of theatre for the general public. And it went down incredibly well. Everywhere we go, we do get fantastic feedback, and it seems to touch people and move people and connect with people on very different levels.
And what we've also heard in terms of feedback when we perform for care professionals or people in the field is that in some cases it has changed methods of working. So they've looked at best practice after discussing the play and sometimes have actually changed the way they work.
Oh, that's great. That must make you feel really proud.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah.
Gobsmacked. And I tell you what, my huge thing was we performed for 260 Admiral nurses, who are the equivalent of Macmillan nurses in dementia. So they're specialist dementia nurses, and we performed at their annual conference about a year ago. And I was fairly nervous about performing in front of such a specialist audience. And it wasn't just nurses, there were academics there. It was at Warwick University. And I got a standing ovation from 260 Admiral nurses.
Oh, wow, Ian.
It was just gobsmackingly fantastic and felt like such an endorsement of what we were doing.
Well, they did say it's on the nose, didn't they? That
yes.
The things that we're saying and the things that we're working on are absolutely a lived experience.
Yeah.
Which, as you can imagine, is a real endorsement.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw from your website as well that you've not only have you been performing it UK-wide, you've also performed it in Perth and Adelaide.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy stuff.
So that was, well, Ian, if you talk
Oh,
about
okay,
Perth.
okay. Well, we originally decided we'd been invited to go to an LGBTQI. They use the I in Australia as well. Arts festival in Adelaide, and we thought if we're going to Australia, we want to go and catch up with friends, and we want to go to other places. So we decided we'd go and visit our friend Jeanette in Perth, and we thought, while we're visiting Perth, hey, let's see if we can get the play on in Perth. And we made contact with an older gay LGBTQI organisation in Perth, and they were so enthusiastic about us going and performing. And I said, we could just. The woman said, "Hey, it's Perth Pride at the same time that you're going to be here." Excuse my Australian accent. We could get it on as part of Perth Pride, and it came back that they thought
Oh,
it was.
dear.
They didn't want it at Perth Pride,
Oh
and
no.
I said, well, just if you're doing any training, we'll come and perform it in a little shed somewhere. It doesn't matter. We'll just do anything. Anyway, this fantastic powerhouse of a woman in Perth who runs this campaigning awareness giving organization called Gray, GRAI. Um, she got us on at the University of Western Australia Dolphin Theatre. They sold it out. And the response there was phenomenal as well. And we were a bit nervous about it, maybe not. We weren't sure where they were at with their care system and LGBTQI stuff, but it went down a storm there as well. So we were just delighted.
That was one of the big issues in going to Australia with it, really, because the predominant reason was to go to this Feast LGBTQI festival in Adelaide. And we were really worried that we were going to be preaching to the converted, that Australia would be so far ahead of us in dementia care and in particular in diversity and anti-discrimination work. Well, we needn't have worried. The feedback we were getting is, wow, you do that in the UK? That's amazing. We're nowhere near doing that sort of care. And it was a real eye-opener, actually,
Yeah, I can imagine.
as to how far we are down the line. Yeah.
It was very affirming to be there, and the welcome that we got was superb. And even I remember our last performance in Adelaide. I think we were just within hours of going to catch the plane, and somebody was saying, "Hey, can you come and do it in our care home? How come we hadn't heard about it yet? Please come and do it in our group of care homes." And we unfortunately had to say, "I'm afraid we can't do that because we're going back
Oh,
home."
what a shame.
But who knows what might come next?
Who knows, indeed. And so, obviously, during these really strange COVID times, I imagine that you've not been able to get out there as much as you'd like to and be able to be performing to people live. Have you had to come up with some new ideas and new ways of getting your message across?
Just before lockdown, I think probably 3 days before, we were due to perform to about 200 Care Quality Commission
Gosh.
inspectors in London, and that rug was pulled. So that was hard. That was really
Yeah.
hard, because that's how you do get the message over, isn't it? To perform to real professionals like that. Anyway, so we didn't do a great deal during lockdown. We sort of just ticked over, making sure that the people we normally work with were okay. But then recently, we decided that we were going to film it.
Fantastic.
And we have. I mean, Ian and I, we're not exactly technophobes, but we're not forward thinking in terms of technology, Ian, are we, as a rule?
Not at all, no. Well, you're much better than I am, or maybe you just have the
Well, I
blather
see.
and
Darn it.
yeah, I've seen through you. And we talked about, should we perform it as a piece of theatre, like the National Theatre live recordings, or should we set it in a house and move it from scene to scene in a house?
Yeah.
More like television. And we came to the conclusion to do it like that. Yeah.
And does that bring different challenges? Do you think it feels like a different piece of work at the end of it?
Well, yes and no. What would you say, Libby?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. It feels different, which I'm glad it does, because it can never compete, so to speak, with the live performance. But it's an additional piece, a complementary piece, if you like. But it feels different because we don't have that immediate feedback from the audience.
Mm.
You know, we're not getting the gasps. On regular occasions, I have to take an audience member out that's crying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we do get that immediate emotional response, especially because we do a Q&A after the performance. So yeah, that kind of immediate feedback we're not getting, which is fine, but it still feels very valid and very real. And I'm in love with it. I think it's a really great piece.
Are you?
Yeah, I love it. And it's so
And
crisp and clean, and you really do get to feel that you're understanding Sam, that's Ian's character. You do get to see an insight into him in a different way than you do live. So it's got its upside, I think.
yeah, absolutely. I suppose I was quite nervous about it in that when you see a piece of theatre and we just have very limited props and we perform in offices, we performed at West Yorkshire Playhouse just in black, with black background and a table and a chair.
It's minimalist.
Yeah, it's minimalist. You've got the right lingo for it as well, Libby. I'm dreadful. And I was slightly concerned that with setting it in a house in a particular place, that would take away that notion of when you go to see a piece of theatre where it is minimalist, you kind of, and it's like when you read a book and you create the visual images yourself, don't you? And you can think,
Yeah.
I think this is the kind of house you would live in. I think this would be happening. I think that. I think that takes away, well, it just makes a different experience of watching it because those things are given to you there on the screen rather than having to create it in your imagination. So I think maybe I don't know, I was going to say maybe it doesn't get the audience to buy into it as much in that they don't have to work as hard to create that image in their own heads. Does that make sense? Or am I just going on?
It does make sense, but I think it also perhaps for some watchers, some audience members, that they don't need to do that, so they can concentrate on the dialogue and they can concentrate on the emotion that's going on. So I think for some people it works better.
Yeah,
I think it'd be very interesting for you to be able to speak to somebody who'd seen it in the way that it was intended to be, and then also this version, and ask them. Really, it'd be interesting to hear what they would say.
Well, interestingly, we're working with students at Coventry University, and the woman that we're working with, Jane, she has seen it live, and is she about the only person who's seen? I think she's the only
Yes,
person who's actually seen the
yes,
film
she is.
version
Yes.
who hasn't been part of making it, and she was very pleased with how it is, and she said it adds an extra dimension to it. And she was talking about how it really still it draws you in. So it is, and Libby mentioned the fact that with the live performance, we do an improvised Q&A after the scripted bit, 40 minutes bit. So that's usually about 20 minutes, and you don't know how that's going to go. And it is a really, I think, for me, it's as important as the scripted bit because it really draws people in, and I think they connect with it in a deeper way because they're talking to the character, and people can ask questions. And for me, as an actor, I don't know how it's going to go. And so, so what I was going to say with the filmed version of it, we haven't actually done this yet. We haven't experienced this bit. We're doing an online Q&A. So students or whoever, at the moment it's students, will watch the film on their own somewhere, and then they will come together on some chat platform like Zoom or Teams or something, and still have the live improvised Q&A, but it'll be online. So it'll be really interesting to see how it works.
It certainly will, yeah. And so will the film be available for other people to see, or are you going to sort of? Do you want? I suppose you don't really want to just advertise it all the time, I suppose, because there must be something really personal about seeing you act it out. How will you work around that? Will you wait until perhaps we come out of this and get back to live performing?
Oh yeah, we definitely want to do that. Libby, I've been talking a lot. Do you want to go?
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, we absolutely want to get back to live. We can't wait to get back to live. But in the meantime, what we are encouraging organisations, I think, rather than individuals to do, is to get in touch with us through our website to discuss the film. And then we can see whether we think it's right for that organisation. Because I can't bear them to take it on and it not be exactly what they're looking for or that's just right for them. But there will be lots of and I think for students, for any student body, it'd be absolutely perfect, actually. And then as soon as we can get back to live, we'll be there like a shot.
That's excellent. I'll definitely try and come and see you wherever you are performing. It sounds like such a great thing. In fact, I think it might have been a colleague of mine from the medical school who told me about you in the first place and the work that you've done with students.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you how you
I'm
found
pretty
out
sure I went
about
to a
it, and I
year
couldn't
four
remember.
MBCHB away day, and we were all talking about the things that we do in year four and our different integrated core units. They are really different parts of the year four medical degree. And a colleague mentioned
Okay.
we were all talking about sort of new things that had come up, and he mentioned you and the work that you were doing. And straight away I texted him and
Okay.
went, please send me their details.
Okay. Good. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, all of that sort of stuff, the film would lend itself really well, and especially once we've trialled the live Q&A, you've got a whole package then that we're more than happy to work with organisations to
Yeah.
deliver.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to get in touch with you, I'll make sure that all of your links are in the podcast notes so they can click straight through and get in touch with you.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Excellent.
And did you mention to me that you have a new project that you're starting on? Can you tell me
Oh,
anything about it?
we're just having a little bit of fun. So literally just before lockdown, I'd written a piece for Ian and another of our Purple List Theatre colleagues called Graham, who actually directed the
Yeah.
Purple List and who was quite keen to get back into acting. He hadn't done some for a while. So I wrote what I think is quite a fun piece for both of these two chaps called The Collectors. And it's had a live airing, which went down really, really well at Helmsley Arts Centre, which is near where I live.
Excellent.
So we've gone in and we've filmed that. We just did that this week, didn't we, Ian?
Yeah. We filmed it on Friday. We performed it earlier in.
Oh, we did it somewhere else, didn't we? At
Yeah.
Village Hall, and
Before
now
lockdown.
We're doing it for the Arts Centre as a bit of a fundraiser for the Arts Centre.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's kind of got it's got an LGBT element in that the two characters are gay characters, but very different from Sam in the Purple List. And I think it's kind of got a bit of a mental health thing going on as well,
It does, yes,
and all
yes.
everything that I'm telling at the moment about clearing out and getting rid and what's it called? Oh, Hoarders in the Attic or whatever. All those TV
Oh
programs.
yeah.
And the two
It's an
guys,
anti-Marie Kondo.
yeah, it is. I don't know if it's anti-Marie Kondo, but it's.
They are.
She'd have a field day with these two characters, and they would eat her alive. Um, but it's a very good piece, and Graham, who directed the Purple List, is somebody who is he worked for a long time in Leeds at oh God, we performed at
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame Sixth Form College.
Oh, my son went there.
Uh, did he do drama, Hazel?
Hey, he did do drama. Yeah, he did.
Uh,
He's not doing drama anymore. He was actually even in a couple of films when he was younger. But
how long
it's
ago?
not.
How long ago was he at Notre Dame? Because Graham could have been his teacher.
Oh, I think. Well, I think he left university 2 years ago, so probably about 7 years ago.
I think
Oh,
Graham
could
might
have
have well have
been.
been. Yeah. Anyway, so Graham Brown.
I will
Um,
ask him.
Ask him. And Graham hadn't. We met years ago at Bretton Hall College, which is now Yorkshire Sculpture Park.
Yes.
And we've kind of been friends ever since for over 30 years. And he hadn't done any acting for a long time. He's much more directing. And he was so excited that Libby was going to write something for the both of us. And we were really pleased to be doing it and having some fun.
And it is nice just to do a very fun, light piece,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
So that'll go up onto the Helmsley Arts Centre YouTube channel at some point in the next couple of weeks, I think. And then I'd really like to tour that. So watch this space.
Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't
fantastic.
told Ian that. Oh, I shouldn't have really just done that on radio, should I? Sorry, Ian.
well, I've got to
Pack your bag.
I've got to pack my bags. And
And have you both? Do you both live in Leeds, or what's your connection with Leeds?
well, I live in Leeds. As I say, I went to Bretton Hall in 1983. No, 1980. I was there till 83. And so that was I don't know if people know where Bretton Hall is. It's what's the Yorkshire Sculpture Park now. So it was a big arts college. in the middle of nowhere near Wakefield. Had a fantastic time there. And then I thought, oh, I want to live in a city. And so from there, I created a performance that we took to London for a bit, and then we brought it to Leeds, and I ended up meeting my husband in Leeds. And as you do, I stayed, and
Yeah.
we've been together ever since.
Oh, that's
So,
good. That's good news.
so that's my connection with Leeds.
Yeah, I live out on not too far from the North Yorks Moors, so quite near Pickering.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So
My,
I'm a
my
little
whole
bit,
family are
yeah.
from Malton, actually.
Uh,
Oh well, I am from Malton. I
Oh,
am from
really?
Malton.
Such a small
Yeah,
world.
that is a small world, but it is a small place. So Leeds is my go-to city. If I want a bit of a city life,
Yeah.
that's where I go. But Ian and I met doing what we call that simulated patient work for a medical school. Um, and as he says, the
yeah,
rest
we
is
did
history. There, we just
completely.
clicked, didn't we?
No,
Don't
we
like him now, but I liked him then.
it was amazing, yeah, because it was that time when, yeah, she wrote. Did I say this that we were all working? Yeah, we were working together, and it became apparent that Libby was a writer, and people were asked saying, "Oh, Libby, will you write something for me?" And have to say I'm a lazy actor, and I just took the mick out of other people and said, "Oh, Libby, will you write something for me?" And she got in touch and said, "Okay, what do you want?" And I thought, I don't know if I want anything, because if you write something for me, I'm going to have to do something with it, and I might not like it. And so we met up and sparked off each other and talked about our different experiences and about situation, and got onto dementia, and it went from there, really.
Good job we did, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. And we I think we kind of really enjoy each other's company when we are buzzing up and down the country, um, performing the play. And it feels like a real privilege to spend kind of close time with somebody like that. Your work colleague, who she's my work wife, and I think I'm probably her work husband.
Absolutely.
So you're both fully qualified to answer my 3 questions that I always ask guests. You can obviously answer it yourselves. You don't have to agree on the answers.
I'm panicking like hell. I've forgotten about this bit.
Oh, don't worry, it's not too taxing. The first question is, what would you say is great about the city of Leeds?
It's got to be the people. It's got to be the people. They're amazing.
Yeah,
They're up for anything.
Okay, for me, that is, yeah, I quite like that one. For me, it's the now, and when I first came, it felt like a very diverse and kind of rootsy kind of place where there was a lot of stuff going on, not subversive, but there was lots of independent theatre and art, and the whole place seemed to be buzzing, and there was kind of an atmosphere of we need to change this. And then I think there was a long time when it felt to me very corporate, and as though there wasn't anything exciting happening. It felt as though we were in the real, I don't know, dead artistic time. And now it feels as though there's a real resurgence in kind of political art, and we want to change this art, and we're not putting up with this art. And I suppose that is kind of coming from when I first came to Leeds. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say really, but we had a government under Margaret Thatcher, and there was a lot of resistance towards that, and a lot of writing and creativity that brought about. And I think we're in that same position again now,
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
which I find
we've got
very
to look at it
exciting.
like that.
And it shows it it shows it in the city and all the fantastic stuff that's going on. And I remember when I first found Slung Low and the Hub, and
Yeah,
I was so excited and delighted by the work that they do there. And I thought, at last, we've got some very exciting alternative theatre happening, as well as the wonderful stuff that happens at West Yorkshire and now Leeds Playhouse. And we performed the Purple List at Leeds Playhouse as part of their dementia theatre festival last year, wasn't it, Libby?
Yeah, every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So it is. So for me, for Leeds, I don't know if it's about the particular time, God, I don't stop talking, do I, Hazel? I'm actually sorry. And it's also about the green spaces for me, and it's about friends, and it's about the friends that I've made over 30 years of being here. And I'm in the LGBTQ choir called Gay Abandon in Leeds. That's been going for a hell of a long time now, and it feels great to be part of that and to be part of the alternative gay culture. And I think we in Leeds, as in lots of places, that kind of earthy community bits of culture got taken over by a I don't know, commercial part. And I think there was a time when Leeds was just very, very commercial, and I think we're getting through that now, which I celebrate. That was only question one.
Well, the second question is, if you had to choose something that you think is not so great about the city, what would it be?
Have you got any idea, Libby?
I have, because I have to come on the train when I go to Leeds because I don't drive in Leeds. I'm absolutely terrified of the roads. If I get in the wrong,
Yeah,
oh,
it
if you
can be
get in the
scary,
wrong lane,
can't
you've had it. So I would have to say the road layout.
it? Have you got anything you'd like to add, Ian?
Well, there's got to be other stuff, but I can't think what it is at the moment. I think it's, um, I suppose, just having waxed so lyrical about how positive I find it and how organisations do seem to be working together to get through stuff. I don't know. I think for me at the moment, and I don't know if it's because of my age, I don't feel as much connectivity with the city centre itself.
Hmm.
And so I think that I would like to see more. I think it's about all kinds of things. I think it's about housing, and I think it's about transport, and so creating those physical links to, I don't know, make it easier to be in town. So when you go out in town at night, it's not just predominantly young people, so that it could feel safer for older people to be there as well. But I think we have got a culture of, I don't know, just a bit of I don't know how to describe it really. I don't feel I particularly want to go into Leeds in the evening for a night out because it
No.
feels alien to me. So there was something about that and about creating safer feeling spaces.
Yeah, I think I might have had a guest say something similar actually. And also just something about perhaps not making the city centre be just for commercial ventures, and perhaps, you could have art spaces and other reasons to be in town rather than just to be purchasing or drinking or
Yeah,
eating.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
And if somebody were a long-term resident of Leeds, would you be able to tell them about something that you would consider to be a hidden gem that they might never have heard of?
Oh, oh, oh. Oh God, that's a really, really good question, and I'm racking my brains trying to think.
I really liked it when I kind of just had a day out once as a tourist and discovered the cathedral. And I know, like, as tourists, you go into cathedrals, but you don't necessarily think about Leeds Cathedral.
You don't. It's tucked away, isn't it?
Yeah, and I thought it was stunning. I really enjoyed going in there. So yeah, I know that's maybe a
Yeah,
bit,
it really is
yeah,
beautiful.
touristy,
I
but
don't know if they do it anymore, but you used to be able to book and go and see the choir performing there. I took my son one year. He wasn't very happy because it went on longer than he
longer
really
than
liked.
Ian. Went on longer than Ian.
I really enjoyed
Oh
it.
yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, so that'd be for me. It would be the cathedral.
Yeah, I do. I often think I need to come to the city centre for a weekend to rediscover it and remember a lot of those places. But I suppose there are nooks and crannies, and there are bars that we all talk about, and there, there are some wonderful old pubs, and I think I went for a walk with a friend during lockdown, and I'd forgotten about the area around Headingley and going to the ridge and the alleyways. And in fact,
Yeah,
walking through from Headingley along the ridge into Meanwood Park, and then you can walk out all the way through the Meanwood Valley. Quite a huge difference. And I tell you what, I did come across there then that I knew nothing about, apart from it just felt like idyllic little scenes of kids paddling in their pants in the river. In the beck, not the
oh,
river, in the beck. And it was just glorious in some of that lockdown time, dare I say. But we came across a place, I can't remember the name of it, but in some woods on Meanwood Valley Trail, there was a spring, and I've forgotten what it was called. It was called the Babbling Baby or something like that, and I can't quite remember it. But it used to be some kind of Edwardian social hotspot, and there's a couple of photographs around
Oh,
there when it was a huge attraction, and there's all these photos of loads of people in all the old Edwardian gear walking up and down this bit in the woods that are now just, there's a couple of people walking through on a Sunday with their dogs, but it used to be loads of people, and there was an old lady who had a tea shop there, and who knew things like that were going on. I love it when I find
oh.
excitement and things that you don't know about, and to think about. I'm now thinking about I live in Island Wood, and which is a big kind of 1950s corporation housing estate in Leeds, and the woods at the back of us, we've got bits of Iron Age settlement in there, which is just
Wow.
gobsmacking. Yeah.
Yeah, those are great. Those are great ones. And what will you be doing with the rest of your evening, do you think?
Good question. I should be doing some yoga, Hazel, because I've been sitting
That
at my
sounds
desk
really good.
pretty much all day today, so I'm ready to try and touch my toes.
That's a good idea. What about you, Ian?
I'm going to have something to eat, and I need to get ready for work in Chesterfield tomorrow. So I'm getting early night. And in fact, I am splitting myself between Leeds and a place called Daventry at the moment because me and my husband have just taken on my mum's care.
Oh, okay.
So we are. It's been delightful to be in Leeds for 5 days, and I'm probably not meant to be here. I'm not sure with the COVID situation.
I'm
But
sure.
I
I think
haven't
we're
been
going to get an update on
interacting
that
too much with
in a
you.
couple of
It
minutes'
was
time,
for
anyway, aren't
work.
we?
It was for work, and I've got to go back down to Daventry tomorrow straight away after some work in Leeds. So I'll be sobbing to say goodbye to Leeds for a bit, and looking forward to coming back in a couple of weeks' time.
We'll be looking forward to welcoming you back.
Good, because it really feels, having been here for 30 years, it feels so good to be coming back to it and knowing that it is my home.
Well, thank you so much both for coming along. I'll make sure everything is in the notes that people can click through.
Fab. Thanks, Hazel.
Okay, fantastic.
We'll tell you. Wait a minute.
I really enjoyed talking to Libby and Ian. They're currently working on a film version of The Purple List, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing. Ian chose to feature a gorgeous track called Silver Moon, which is by the very talented Beth Kilburn. Have a listen, look after each other, take care during this second lockdown. Let's hope we get rid of this stupid coronavirus soon. Stay safe, bye!
Be good for mommy. Quiet as a lamb. Hold her little hand through the water. Sing up for daddy. Loud as you can. God has given strength to the daughter. I see you at the bridge, standing on the edge. Everyone you love, you remember. Hold him in your heart. Never be the same. Leave it in the latch on the window. Why do I cry for days gone by when I had the chance to lead the dance? It's a silver moon that's falling soon. Oh, will you take it with you? Sail away from here. All the things you know, only for a moment you go under. You carry on the game, carry on alone. One day it'll all be over. let it